Hello and welcome. My name is Danielle. I'll be your host this evening. We have a very special guest with us. We have Kory Muniz with us. She is the co-author in an upcoming book called Infinite Cosmic Records. Welcome, Kory. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day in LA.
Awesome. So you're from LA. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm actually a transplant from Long Island, New York, but I came down here when I was 18 months old, so I had no control over it.
Nice.
Totally became a Southern California Valley girl. Um, Grew up in an area which at the time was mostly farms and ranches that very quickly became an extension of Los Angeles and became a city.
Mm.
So I've been here for most of my life, almost all of it, and went to public school here, went to college, got into the entertainment business because that's what everybody who lives here does, pretty much. Did that for a large part of my um, adult working life, everything from modeling and acting, and I was in bands when I was in high school. I was that gleek, you know,
The creative type. I love it.
singing the singing and all that kind of fun stuff, the plays at school, and really thought I was going to go in that direction. And so I got involved in the industry and did a lot of different things within the industry. Did some stunts, did some principal work, did some background work, did some hand modeling, just whatever I could do, because I love the fact of being different people, experiencing different lifetimes, as it were, and being able to give people something to laugh at and go through their emotions. And so for me, it was exciting, always being in a different place, playing a different role, working with different people that really seemed to want to work together in a collaborative way, which was always very attractive to me. And then I got married. I had a son, and very shortly after that became a single parent. And I was trying to navigate into the producing end of it. And it was during the director's strike.
Oh gosh.
In the late 90s, yeah. And so it was everything, hiring was kind of put on hold.
Mm.
And I started thinking about, being a single parent and not being a parent that wanted to have to hire someone to raise my child. I really wanted to look for something else to do. And I had gone to school to be a fashion designer, and I also studied advertising at that time as a backup career for my acting career.
Wow. Wow. You have an amazing background. It's perfect for something like this because it's so creative and, the being a co-author in a project like this, it's amazing. How would you explain the cosmic records in your perspective? What is that to you?
Um, about the process itself, or
Well, how would you describe infinite cosmic records from your own perspective? Because some people might not quite understand what that is exactly, because it's a modality that Maya created. So if you can explain it in your own words, like how that is from your perspective.
well, when Maya explained it to me, she said it was a combination of going into the archivic records
Mm-hmm.
along with doing going into past life regression.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, that wasn't really my experience,
Okay.
but going into it, it allowed me to know what direction to expect.
Okay. So after going through the process, what did it feel like from your perspective then? Like, if it wasn't what you were expecting as hypnosis or a past life, how did it come through for you?
Well, truth be told, I've never been able to be hypnotized.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I've tried many, many times, and I've come to the realization that's because I don't need it. I kind of live in those different dimensions. I've
Okay.
always had memories of past lives. Um, I've had knowings of things that I shouldn't know, and it's kind of been something that I've had since birth, but then was teased about it a lot. Kind of went in the closet with that, and coming back into gaining my power back with all of that.
Okay.
Um, so for me, it was. I think that's why I don't go there under hypnosis, because I think my subconscious wants to be in control.
Okay.
Already knows what it needs
Hmm.
to know at this point. I mean, there's always opening up that onion and seeing more.
Right. It's like you've on a subconscious level made that decision like, no, will not be hypnotized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's so. Would you say it was a form of imagination then for you as you were visualizing?
Um, for me, it was a form of confirmation.
Okay.
Um, I don't visualize like the average person going through something like that does. Like, I don't see the stairs, I don't see the doorways, I don't see the things that you're prompted to see.
Okay.
I felt, I feel, and I'm clairaudient.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was different, but that's what my lesson was.
Oh,
And
okay. Well,
chapter is about is, going through the process and understanding that we don't all have to go through it the same way.
I like that you said that because the reason why I kept prompting to understand was because for me, I very much am a visual person. I'm like clairvoyant. I could see things. So the process was very like I had the vision and the imagination. So I was kind of curious from your perspective. I'm thinking, oh, I wonder how that was for her. So that's really cool. When you were starting the process, how did you drop into your space with that intention? What did you set for your intention as you were beginning the session with her?
Hmm. I think it's hard for me to remember exactly what it was, but I think my intention was just pretty much to open up more to receiving, from my higher self, from the divine, just to be more aware of the signs,
Okay.
and also having more faith in myself to accept what I was experiencing.
I love that. Wow. That's deep. I feel like that probably really hit home for you. What did the Infinite Cosmic Records journey feel like for you as you were being walked through the process?
Well, every door that I was led to, which like I said was more of a pull, more of a feeling, um, clicked something else in my brain to say, this is why you're feeling this. This is why you're hearing this. This is why you're experiencing this. And it was full on body. I
Wow.
was laying down through the process. I thought I was going to be sitting, but it didn't last very long. And I had to lay down on the floor. And I, at one point, had a headache. I, at one point,
Wow.
felt my whole body just kind of oscillating in a figure eight. That
Okay.
was the last door that I went through. I do remember the first door seeing color, and around the color formed this like black goo with like spikes,
Oh, wow.
which was just obliterated um, through the connection that I made in that space. And we all have, we all know what's going on with black goo. So it made a lot of sense to me with the spiky, gooey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I think, maybe eliminating some fears.
Okay.
And and then just, deep messages of, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what we're showing you, this in your body, because this is what you've got to do. You've got to flow, you've got to move. And so was, part of what I wrote about. But what I really, really, really wanted to share was the fact that I have always thought that my gifts weren't good enough.
Mm.
Compare them to other spiritual leaders that I know, or teachers, or facilitators, people healers that do the kind of thing that I do, because I don't see these things. And I used to when I was younger, and I talk
Mm.
about that a little bit in my chapter, and being critiqued for it. So I think one of the reasons that I wanted to do this was open myself back up to that, and I think it is happening more gradually as I step away from that experience further and further away. I used to be able to see auras, and I can't do that. Well, let me say, I have not been able to do that in the recent past. So I wanted to bring to people the fact that it's just detrimental and stalling on your life's mission to compare yourself to other people. And we have to all learn to accept ourselves for those gifts that we have.
That's
And
beautiful.
be happy about that,
Yeah, absolutely. So your chapter, I don't want to give away too much of the chapter itself, but could you share a little bit more about your chapter and what past life experience during the session resonates, um, or I'm sorry, resonated to your present life that's relevant to now? So a little bit about the chapter and then a little bit about your past life. Did
Well,
that?
the like I said, my goal in the chapter was to help other people that feel stuck like I did,
Mm-hmm.
that compared to and the message that I got going through that last space in the process, and I told you that my hips were kind of doing this.
The figure eight, yeah.
They were kind of oscillating in like a figure eight back and forth, and it really was in my lower part of my body, which is your grounding, your connection to Mother
Okay.
Earth. And for me, the message was, be like water.
Aw,
Go
yeah.
around it, go over it, go under it. So that was big right there, because I really look to Mother Nature and the goddess vibrations, and I really feel that my message was telling me to be more fluid, to go with the flow, to not pay attention to the blockages in the way, and to understand that I can fly over that. I can swim under that. As an energetic being, I have other ways of doing things, that I don't have to conform to the worldly way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
That it's okay. However I need to do that, it's okay.
Yeah, I love that. That's very empowering. I bet you felt really good afterwards. Did what would you, with your past life experiences, what would you say it is helping to heal in your present life currently?
That's a deep question. Um, I think my past life in Atlantis was what brought me to the water lesson.
Okay.
That's always where I feel the most healed and the most connected, is when I'm around water. And I
I
think
could
it's one
tell.
of the
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
reasons why I've stayed in Southern California, and not far from the beach area. And of course, you hear my fountain. Is that what you were going to comment
Yeah,
on?
yeah, yeah. And I have to apologize, for some reason. I'm getting a really bad connection, so we keep going in and out. So I don't know if I can you can hear me too, right?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
I just want to make sure.
Just
Okay.
a little bit. You're going in and out. But
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
that's my home goddess, and she's a turtle. She's a red-eared slider. And so that's her aquarium you're hearing in the background. She's the only other female energy in my house because I live with two men, my
Okay.
husband and my, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, the overall feeling that you got throughout the entire process of working with Maya, what was that like for you? And what stood out the most during the process?
Well, Maya was really so, I had talked with her a little bit prior about, kind of letting her know that I wouldn't be able to be hypnotized. I wouldn't be able to see anything. And I was worried about that. And I really appreciated the way that she kind of took my hand in a way and said, it's okay. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. It's all just going to be wonderful and beautiful.
Aw.
And don't worry about anything. There's no judgment. And I could feel from her heart that there was no judgment on anything I was saying or doing. And even when I was crying, because there was one point where I just felt the need to release so much pain and anxiety from all of those past lives that I had experienced going through another process with the publisher Rada. And I thought I had got it all out, but obviously it was still there. So that was really cleansing. And she just, it's okay. It's okay. Go with it. Let it happen. And I just felt embraced, supported, loved. When I was writing my chapter, I was running into some challenges here emotionally, being in LA. We're going through a lot of issues with segregation and lockdowns and things. And I was really in a bad place. And so I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And she just kept saying, whatever happens is okay. You're going to be okay. Your experiences are your experiences. And that's important when you're getting into new territory and you're going through a process that you've never experienced and isn't in the zeitgeist yet, where people know, like, oh, I went to a hypnotherapist. They're like, oh, okay, we know what that is. But, when you say, I did the, infinite records method, they're like, the what? The cosmic what? So it just was a really good, supportive thing that I'm very thankful the opportunity was offered to me to experience it and go forward about it. And then on top of that, to write my experience to help others. Because I think that's what we're here for on this planet, is to learn and grow and teach.
Right.
Because we all have something to gain from that give and take with everybody we meet.
Right. I couldn't agree more with that. It's so important. How do you feel about sharing your cosmic record with others? Do you feel like it? Obviously, I know it was healing for you. Do you feel comfortable sharing and explaining, the overall process to others, or is it a vulnerable thing for you?
I'm excited. I'm excited to share it with people, because why wouldn't you want to say, it's like if I made the best apple pie in the world, why wouldn't I want to say, Danielle, have a piece of my pie? It's really
Right.
good.
Exactly.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel about this. This is a slice of real goodness in life that is available. And to not want to share that would be so selfish. And that's not what we're here for, y'all.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I wouldn't want to hide it either. So did how support obviously it seems you felt very supported, so I almost feel silly like asking that question, but how did you feel throughout the entire time you were trying to be creative and then Maya's walking you through it? What was the overall experience with Rada Publishing House? I feel like you've already answered that question, but what sets her apart from having worked with other people in the past when you've done creative projects that maybe didn't have the same type of support? What sets them apart, you know?
Well, the little bit of difference between this and my past experience was this had a more maternal support.
Hmm.
It was, I grew up, I lost my mother to breast cancer when I was 16. My mother passed. So it's sometimes hard for me to remember that motherly connection, but it almost was like I could feel Maya holding my hand.
Aw.
Like I was crossing the street to get to an unknown place on the other side, and she
Yeah.
was holding my hand through it and saying, "It's going to be okay, baby."
Aw, that's beautiful.
That's the feeling, the
Hmm.
vibration she gave to me.
Well, that's wonderful. I feel like it's such a unique experience. So I'm glad that you felt comfort and nurtured because doing something like this, I mean, it is a level of healing. So there are, there are times as adults we're just so used to, figuring it out, finding solutions and taking care of things. But then when you actually step back and you're like, you know what, that felt really supportive and I can actually, have a moment to be a kid. That's why I like this type of healing work because it's starting to help me understand that we are kids at heart and we can still remain kids at heart, but while, stepping into leadership and being,
Yeah,
powerful women. So I'm glad you had that
yeah. We
experience.
are not only, like you said, kids at heart, we're wounded kids.
Yeah.
There is so much that society has thrown on us that needs to be healed.
Hmm.
And society tells us to heal it with things that are out there. And this process is healing that little girl within me from within my heart. And
Nice.
it's very different, and it's something that I can own and I can always call upon. I don't have to have money to go to the store to buy some whiskey, to collect the you know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't go to those not so healthy ways that society tells us to cover up our sorrows.
Yeah.
I can
Absolutely.
I can look inside and find what I need to do in my own time
Hmm.
for free. No one can take it away.
Right.
It works. It
That's awesome.
100% works, and it doesn't work the same for everybody, and that's okay.
No, did you feel a shift at all? Was it like an internal shift in a way, like a different perspective or a higher sense of awareness for you?
A higher sense of self-acceptance and self-awareness,
Okay.
which which leads to confidence,
Yes.
leads to a better ability to communicate with others and
Well
be
said.
you know um, I can't go out and tell somebody that I can heal you if I don't know how to heal myself.
Right. Absolutely.
So this process to me did me a great service, and I'm just passing that on.
Oh, I'm so excited to read your chapter. How do you feel about being a published author with a Rada Publishing House?
Well, it's an exciting thing to look forward to.
Hmm.
At this point, the book hasn't come out yet.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm just hoping to be able to help other people with my story. And if hopefully somebody will connect with me and say, "Hey, that helped me," then that's exciting. That's wonderful. And I have that happen within my healing practice. I've had people write testimonials and things like that and refer people to me. So this would just be a further extension of that. because words can heal, and knowing that you're not alone is sometimes all somebody needs to
Right.
get through the next day. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see it. I can't. Rada Publishing makes the most beautiful covers, and I just can't wait to see the finished product and you know be able to share it with the world.
I can't wait either. It's going to be amazing. I mean, I really wish I had a chance to read your chapter, but I guess I'll have to just wait and find out. Yeah, so what lessons would you share with people that you've learned from, this experience, and then what grew, what helped you I feel like you've mentioned these pretty well, but I just want to make sure we cover everything. So, what lesson do you feel you've learned in your past life that you can apply to this life?
Well, I don't think my experiences have quite let out like that.
Okay.
The way I can frame it is knowing the experiences that I went through in my past life, I have a greater experience, I have a greater understanding of what I'm experiencing now
Okay.
and why I need to step out of that and get beyond that and acknowledge that I don't need to keep going through the same thing cycling over and over and over again. And
Mm,
you'd mentioned boundaries, and I think that's a really big part of it. I think in going through these processes, I have learned that it's actually loving other people when you allow them to know what your boundaries are.
yeah, I love that that you brought that up. This was something we were talking about before we got started, and boundaries is something that's been, you know, challenging for me, but I've also learned the same lesson. I feel what you're saying is completely hitting my heart, like totally
Mhm.
you're right. Um, and it also teaches them, that you are, just as lovable and respected too, so I feel like it helps both of you. You both learn a lesson through that process.
Well, and on top of that, I've learned to say no to others and yes more often to myself and
Beautiful.
find the joy and create the joy. But there is something that I want to mention, and that's just my overall experience working with Rada Publishing.
Uh-huh.
Because this is not something that I've done before. I've written articles for newspapers and websites and things like that. I was a lecturer I've been a lecturer for many, many years on many topics, all involved with health. Um, so I've like spoken in front of people before, and then they've asked me to write a brief synopsis, and I've done things like that. But I've never worked with a publishing company, and it's a little scary. But the process overall has just been amazing, loving, giving, nurturing, caring,
Aw.
fun, getting to meet awesome people like you, Danielle, and to know that you're in the book with me is just so cool. I can't wait to
I,
read after.
I feel
Um,
like you're saying everything my heart feels too. I'm just like, yes.
so,
Yeah, I totally feel it. Yeah.
and I don't feel like, I wrote a children's book. It hasn't been published yet. I wrote it 20 some odd years ago. And I tried to publish it myself, and it was just so daunting, and
Mm,
learning what the publishing industry generally looks like and how they rip off. I have a friend that's a writer that was totally ripped off by his publisher. So
wow.
um, knowing that Rada Publishing is just so righteous, I can't think of any other word. I mean, they're just there to do nothing but give back.
Right. And there a lot of integrity behind what they do, truth. And I mean, even if it's constructive, I mean, it always comes from love. There's no, you know, it's very different. I absolutely agree with every word you're saying.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that my first step into being published
Mm,
was with such a beautiful, wonderful, light filled, heart filled company.
yes. Oh, So beautiful. So what's next for you? What's going on right now for you? What are your plans?
I'm going with the flow. Like I said, I wrote this book. I don't know. I've copywritten it already. I mean, a long time ago. So might try and get that out. I am working with a few different modalities. I've also added, I'm a Reiki master. I
Mhm.
teach all levels of Reiki. I do color therapy, crystal healing. I do clinical aromatherapy. And now I'm bringing in a little bit of technology and utilizing a frequency tool, which has over 144,000 healing frequencies that I can utilize remotely. So
Wow.
I'm always looking for new ways to help people and enhance their lives and their health, and different ways to get them to understand that they are this amazing, amazing being that is 100% energy, and they are in control of their health. It's
Absolutely.
And so I'm learning and I'm growing, and I'm offering more and more modalities to my clients, and teaching. I'm also a gourmet raw food chef, so I teach classes. I educate people on how to bring a little bit into your life or become 100% raw vegan. I go through people's kitchens, explain to them why good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You know,
Oh, I didn't know that. You need to come to my house.
raw food parties.
Yeah.
Um, because
Awesome.
everybody's body is different. Just
Hmm.
spirit is different. So we all need to have a bunch of tools in our toolbox. So
Yeah.
I look at myself as just someone that gives them the tool, and then they heal themselves. I don't do it. I'm just the straw. Like with Reiki, I tell people, I'm just a straw for the energy. It comes through me, goes into you. I'm not doing anything. I'm just facilitating. So building my business up, trying to figure out where I'm going to land as far as a place to live, researching that because LA is becoming quite difficult.
Mm.
Um, and just wanting to offer more and more of my services to more and more people, because you can come to me, I
Mhm.
can go to you, I can work on people no matter where they're at.
I love that. Thank
Remote.
you for everything you do because I know that you spend a lot of time helping the community. You're so, she's very well rounded as a woman. I mean, you're very helpful with a lot of the things that are going on in the world, educating. So I will be sure to link all your information down below so everyone could reach you. And I just want to thank you so much for your time and energy that you pour into the world, your community, and all the gifts you share with everyone. I mean, yeah, that's phenomenal. That is like I love connecting with people like you. Like that just makes me so happy to know there's people like you in this world. So I'm very
Yeah,
excited for them to read your chapter and be able to connect. So
we're all pieces of the puzzle. So
yeah, yeah.
you're everything is nothing. It's like if you look, in a microscope and further, further, and further, there's space in between everything. And because of that, we are all connected. We are all one. And
Mm,
whatever I can do to help, it comes back to me.
yep.
It's karma, it's the cosmic flow. There's so many ways that you can do this, but this this chi, this is the God force. This is the divine within us, is the God,
Mhm.
or the goddess, or the Jesus, or the Buddha, or Muhammad, or whatever you call it. Mother Nature, um, divine consciousness. But when we step out to listen to each other with the intention of healing one another through love, we can
Mhm.
change the world.
I agree. We're doing it. So
Let's
thank
do
you.
it.
Yeah, we're doing it. I just want to thank you so much for your time this evening. And Kory, again, like I said, we'll go ahead and link your information down below. And I want to thank everyone who listened to the interview. And please do check out Rada Publishing House. There are future books in the works. Who knows, maybe you could be the next author. And we also will be providing more information for the launching of Infinite Cosmic Records next year. And thanks again, Kory. You have a wonderful evening and God bless.
Thank you so much. Much love to you, Danielle.
Thank you. Much love to you.
Bye.